We just completed lines on our AutoCAD checklist. Now we're going to move into creating circles, squares, and polygons. Okay, right up here in the ribbon is the circle command. And if you click on the down arrow, you can either choose to create a circle based off the radius, or you can choose to create a circle based off of a diameter. And we are going to go ahead and use both. So first things first, the checklist says draw a 15-inch radius circle without the dynamic input. So I have to specify my center point by clicking my mouse. And now I start to draw it out. Now you notice that I can spin around in any direction. And the reason I can do that is because my ortho mode is turned off. But if I came down here and turned on my ortho mode, I can only go horizontal or I can go vertical. But ortho mode on or off, I only want to go a distance of a 15-inch radius. So I actually need to come on down here, zoom in a little bit with my thumb wheel, and I'm going to try and drag it to 15. And I am doing this without the benefit of my dynamic input. Next, it says draw a circle with a 20-inch diameter without dynamic input. So I'm going to go back up here to my circle, and this time I need to change to diameter. So I'm going to select center diameter. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my center, and I want to have a diameter that is 20 inches. And it actually still looks like I might be in, no, I am in diameter. So I hit 20. So this one was a 15-inch radius, which means it was a 30-inch diameter. This is a 20-inch diameter, so that should be smaller than that circle right there. Next, it tells me to go ahead and draw in a circle with a 20-inch radius. So we're going to come back up here, and we're going to hit radius. But this time, we'll go ahead and use the dynamic input. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and all I have to do is type 20. I type 20, I hit enter, and boom, dynamic input is so much easier. So the final circle that we have to draw is a circle that has a 25-inch diameter with dynamic input. So I'm going to select diameter. I'm going to start my circle. I'm going to type in 25, hit enter, and we're done drawing circles. It's pretty easy to draw circles. Now let's go ahead and go to rectangles. So right up here in the right-hand portion of this area in the ribbon, the draw area, there is a rectangle box. So it tells me first things first, I create a starting point, and then I create an ending point. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the rectangle, and I have to start my beginning point. So I'll specify my first corner right here. And I want to draw a 25 by 25. So I'm looking, and already I need to zoom in a little bit on my thumb wheel because that's kind of small. So here I am without my dynamic input. Fastly approaching 25, and I pressed the button by mistake. So that I'm going to have to try that again. 25 by 25. 25 down, 25 across. And you can see there's a little bit of finagling here. Trying to get 25 by 25. Get a 25.1, 24. Ouch, it's painful. So there is a 25 by 25 inch square that I drew without the benefit of dynamic input. Next, it says to draw a 30-inch by 30-inch square with dynamic input. This is going to be a whole lot easier. So I'll come back up here to the square function. I will specify my corner, and all I have to do is I type 30, which is going to be my length. So that box is 30. Now I'm going to hit the tab button to go to the other box. So I hit tab, and I'm going to type in 30, and I'm going to hit enter. And voila, so much easier than trying to do it without the dynamic equivalency. Next, it says to draw a 30-inch wide by 15-inch high rectangle. So instead of a square, we're going to do a rectangle. So it is going to be, I'll start drawing it here. I want it to be 30 inches wide. So I'll type in 30. I'm going to hit tab. And then it says it needs to be 15 inches high. So I'm going to hit 15 and hit enter. So now I've got a 30-inch wide by 15-inch high square. Now it says to switch between the squares and the polygon function. How do I do that? Well, right up here next to the square in the ribbon, there's a down arrow. So if I click on that down arrow, I can select polygon, which means a many-sided object. So I'll go ahead and select polygon. So the first thing it says is enter the number of sides in the polygon. Well, let's see. It says here, create a 8-inch radius triangle. So if it's a triangle, the number of sides is going to be 3. So I'm going to hit enter, 3. Next, I click on my center. Now it says, do I want to inscribe it in a circle or do I want to circumscribe it on the outside of a circle? The directions say that we need to inscribe. So I'll select inscribe, and now I start to draw. And this has to be an 8-inch radius. So all I have to do is type 8 in my dynamic input, hit enter, and I've got a triangle. Now the 8-inch radius would be the circle that this triangle would fit into. So for instance, let's go ahead and do that. If I did a radius and it's supposed to be, we'll do a circle here and I'll do an 8-inch radius. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and move it. And just to show you, see how that triangle is inscribed? That means it's drawn inside the radius of that circle. Next, it says to inscribe an 8-inch radius pentagon. Pentagon is a 5-sided object. So I come back up here to polygon and it says enter the number of sides. A pentagon has 5 sides. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to specify my inscribe and type in 8 in my dynamic equivalency. And now I've got a 5-sided pentagram that was inscribed inside an 8-inch radius circle. Next, it says circumscribe a hexagon in a 5-inch radius. So come on back up here to polygon. A hexagon has 6 sides, so I'm going to hit 6. I'm going to click my center. This time I'm going to hit circumscribe because I'm supposed to circumscribe it. And the radius that I'm circumscribing is 5. So I'll hit 5 and hit enter. And now I've got a hexagon that was circumscribed. Now, inscribed was inside the circle. Circumscribed means it's outside the circle. So let's go ahead and draw a circle that had a 5-inch radius. And I hit 5. All right. And if I move this to here, you can see that the hexagon circumscribed means outside the circle, where inscribed meant inside the circle. So that's what those 2 words mean. Last shape is an octagon. So we're going to come back up here to polygons. An octagon has 8 sides. So I need to put 8 sides, hit enter. specify a center. We're going to circumscribe it. And this time it is going to be a 10-inch radius. So I'm going to hit 10 in my dynamic input, hit enter, and I have got circles and squares and polygons.